Good morning. Welcome to Bazaar Morning Call. I'm Lata, Anuj with me, and Sonia joining from home. Well, actually, it's a bit of a confused morning, at least for me. The Nifty had a very fine session yesterday from the lows, but it could once again behave like Sachin Tendulkar for his 100th 100. I mean, waited long enough, and there is always a bit of a touch and go as we approach that 15,915. But today it looks within touching distance. Today it looks like a cakewalk. But let's see what the global ambience is. The Wall Street indices are fine, but Asia has not been reflecting that because of COVID worries, and there are fresh shutdowns in Japan and in Australia, in the New South Wales state. So we have to see whether foreign investment will be a bit jittery. They didn't, after a long gap, they didn't look jittery yesterday. We saw a positive FII number, but we have to wait. Today could be a little different. There's also the dollar index, which is at 92.7, but that's the only negative. To counter it, you have crude now at 73 and bond yields, US bond yields, all the way down to 1.3. So perhaps 92.7 dollar index will not be that much of a negative. All I'm saying is that there are too many, yes, this is there, but this is countered kind of global ambience. The domestic queue, the big one that happened yesterday night, was the cabinet reshuffle. It's a bit of performance. It appears to be a bit of placating various groups like scheduled backward castes and other castes. And it appears to be a bit of preparing for the upcoming state polls. I spoke to a couple of prominent dealers, and they said it is a non-event for the markets. But of course, the markets will have to tell us that. And finally, my sense is it's Thursday, it's a weekly expiry. So ultimately, it's not all this, but positioning of the market that might determine how quickly we reach the all-time highs and whether we continue to prevail over it. Anuj, that's the question to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Lata. Well, yes, Sachin's 100, right? We had to wait for a long. Of course, doesn't take anything away from the great man, right? But look, the fact is that this is a market which yesterday had factored in a very strong global performance. That's what the market was doing. And of course, some bit of cabinet move as well, which, by the way, turned out to be a bit of a non-event purely from the market point of view. I think it's again the same, Lata. The all-time high of 59.15 remains a bit of a resistance. I think what you do on days like today is, once again, just like yesterday, see if the market is respecting the lows in the first hour. And if it is, then you try a long trade once again, because that's working. So 15,750 is the base. 15,780 is a 20-day moving average. If the market gives you an opportunity, say around 15,790, 15,800 thereabout, traders perhaps would try a long trade with this 30-40 point stop loss purely as a risk reward. If it works, it works. It's a good 3:1. If it doesn't, you're out at 15,750. That's my sense. 20 DMA held out yesterday as well. I think what's also interesting is the FI buying. After 5 days, in fact, the last buy number that we had was on June 29, and even that was a very meager number. So the 500 crore buy number, you had to go back to June 23rd or 24th. So after a long time, you have a buy number from FIs. That's good news from the bulls' point of view. Sectorally, it's very interesting because what's happened is that, and this is something which has played out in the market many times. Overall, we know that Nifty IT is the leader of the market and the Bank Nifty is the laggard. But in between, we keep having these tactical moves. So what we have this month is the Nifty IT, which is down 1.5%, just ahead of earnings season. And the Bank Nifty is up almost 3%. So relative, there's been a 4.5% outperformance for the Bank Nifty compared to the Nifty IT. Of course, year to date, Nifty IT still be outperforming. So let's see. My sense is just because purely from the expiry factor, the Bank Nifty still may maintain its relative strength just for the day. Weekly expiry, so there's some volatility which is possible. But I think one trade of buy the dip will play out. Whether we have a second dip or not, that's something that we will see. Sonia, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Anuj. Good morning, Lata. And so many cues to watch out for. As you rightly pointed out, it's a relief to see after 5 days of selling, FIs buying in the market, right? But DIs have sold, so they've sold about 232 crores. The US 10-year bond yield is now at the lowest since February at 1.30%, so that bodes well for equities. TCS results post-market hours, so perhaps the IT space will be in focus ahead of that. And you have the Zomato IPO as well. They've preponed their date. Now IPO opens on the 14th of July, so plenty of action in the primary markets. But Anuj, how does one approach it now? This is a market that has continuously been a buy on dips. that texture has not changed for any reason, right? Every dip or every plunge should still be used as a buying opportunity, you think?
Oh, absolutely, Sonia. And you don't fix something which is not broken, right? So right now the market's in that phase. The market will keep having shakeouts, though, Sonia. And I'll tell you one more thing. For us as commentators, it's easy to say buy the dip, but there have been some dips which have been quite ferocious, and they at times would shake out even some of the stronger traders. Of course, weaker ones clearly, but in between there have been 2 or 3 times when the market's gone to 15,900 almost, and then retreated sharply to 15,600 as well, 15,550 as well, 2 or 3 times. The Bank Nifty, for example, from 35,500 fell to 34,500 as well. 1,000-point dips have happened on the Bank Nifty. Now, as I said, it's easier to say buy the dip, but at that point, what's your greed and fear? That is important factor. But yes, the overall texture of this market has been to buy the dip, and as long as the important levels are holding, which is 15,600 thereabout on the Nifty and 34,500 on the Bank Nifty, I think that texture is intact.
Today your Bank Nifty could get an unexpected support. The governor has given an interview, RBI governor has given an interview to Business Standard, and the overall mood is, good for banks, or rather bullish for bonds. Seems to say that we have enough reserves and therefore we don't have to worry, we don't have to follow what the Fed does. And in any case, the Fed's moves also, going by the way the bond markets in the US are behaving, is actually positive for Indian bond markets in the sense that bond prices need not fall any further. The bond yields in the US are falling. Crude has fallen. That again is a positive. The governor seems to indicate, I mean, it's of course nuanced, but he seems to indicate that yes, there are inflation fears, but we are not going to sacrifice what we have achieved in terms of growth, or likely want to achieve in terms of growth. So it is a pro-growth conversation from my first and very hurried glance in the morning. So that might be a bit of a tailwind for the Nifty Bank. And we began with Tendulkar, actually, we should have begun with Federer. I mean, it's a real pity yet. With your 40 years and such a long career, that you should get a bagel in Wimbledon it's deeply hurtful, but that's what happens, I guess, in the evening of a person's career.
Absolutely. And you know what? Of course, I'm a bigger Nadal fan, but doesn't take anything away from Federer. And you really felt bad yesterday.
No, I felt bad, but you should not be playing also when you're 40, isn't it?
No,
I mean, this is only the quarters, isn't it? It's only quarters. It's not even finals.
Sometimes Lata, you believe that you have perhaps one more slam left in you. You always believe, like from Federer's point of view, he always believes perhaps, who knows, Djokovic might get injured and all, and I might get a chance. So you always believe you might get one more.
The player in you wants to play.
Exactly. And
I take that.
It's not as if, you're still reaching quarters. It's not as if, you're getting out in first or second round. So I think you have to give it.
If it hadn't been for the bagel, I wouldn't have raised this issue.
But my sense is that, perhaps he would have got hurt, and this could be the twilight.
Yeah, it could be a turning point. In any case, I am more a Federer fan than a Nadal fan. So for me, it hurt very, it really pained. But then the career is perhaps now in the evening of its phase. Okay, we are getting back to equities, and we have lots to discuss today. First, the equity call of the morning comes from Venugopal Gare of Bernstein. Venugopal says that Nifty is at an all-time high, with valuation arbitrages slowly disappearing, given a broad-based rally across market caps and sectors. He says optimism on the economy is apparent as the birth of a new cycle is being evaluated. From a portfolio perspective, Bernstein is currently neutral on India, with a Nifty target of 16,000. They are overweight IT, healthcare, industrials and financials, led by a comfortable sustainability of earnings growth with room for upgrades.
Okay, that's the equity call, but here are some views coming in on the money markets this morning. First up on the rupee, Pramit Brahmabat of Veracity says the rupee will see further weakness on the back of strength witnessed in the US dollar. Thus, he pegs the trading range for the spot dollar INR pair at 74.20 to 74.80 today.
Okay, and on bonds, Dhaval Dalal of Edelweiss says the arrival of the new 10-year investment-grade bond may be a good opportunity for the Reserve Bank and market to correct the kink in the yield curve. He adds that given the recent moves in the 3- and 5-year bond after the May CPI data and surrounding spot yields, the new 10-year should ideally be trading between 6.25 and 6.30. Oh my God, in order to have a healthy start. Will the Reserve Bank allow it to go to 6/4 and 6.3.
Okay, let's see. That's a call from Dhaval. Let's move on then, and here's a look at the world view with Mangalam.
Well,